Welcome to Be the Voice podcast, brought to you by Voices Magazine, where we are using our voices to shatter the silence. It's time to be informed, encouraged, and empowered with your favorite host, Dee Marie. Well, good evening and welcome to Be the Voice podcast. This is your host, Dee Marie. I am really excited about tonight's episode. For one, if you don't know, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And there is an event I really wanted to cover. I wanted to bring awareness to this month. And I met a beautiful young lady by the name of Brandy. And we actually met through a mutual friend of ours. And they have been doing just some amazing work in the community. And I definitely wanted to highlight the Diva Empowerment Foundation and wanted to bring her on so she can tell you a little bit about what they do and what they have coming up, and so that we can be aware of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on Brandy. Hello, Brandy, and welcome to Be the Voice podcast. Excited to have you. You're my first official guest.
Wow, thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor to be the first guest.
Yes, I am so excited to have you. So, like I was telling all my viewers and listeners, this is actually a Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I know you guys have a lot of things coming up, and I just wanted to highlight what you guys are doing, talk about some statistics, what we need to know about domestic violence. There's just so much that goes on in our community, and I just think it's so important for us to be educated and be aware. So just tell us a little about yourself and about the Diva Empowerment Foundation.
Okay, well, my name is Brandy Jelks. I am the program director at Diva Empowerment Foundation. We have been in existence for 10 years, starting off in the community. We are 501c3, and we have been fortunate enough to start our housing program 4 years ago. Awesome. And it is our Pathways to Brightness program. So just always been an advocate for women having a safe environment for their children. So years ago, worked in the real estate industry, dip and dabble, still a little bit. So with housing, renting to single mothers, with the real estate background on top of several other businesses, it brought everything that we did and together in order to help individuals. So we've always been in a helping spirit of, individuals needing homes, first-time investors, setting up businesses, all this great stuff. So let's put it all in one program. So Pathways to Brightness is their program.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. So let me ask you, a lot of times when, people get involved with foundations or they start it, usually it's from a story. I don't know if that's your story or not, but tell me, how did you have a passion for women that, deal with the trauma of domestic violence?
As I stated before, we're serial entrepreneurs, so we've had several businesses.
Look, right? That is me too.
right. Okay, so we started off with a kickball league.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so owning that kickball league led us, and it was an all-women's kickball league.
Okay.
So women, you see different things, what's going on top of our day career as far as myself and the founder, Mr. Eddie Ross. This was actually founded by a man.
Right. So, okay.
I am a co-founder. So.
Okay. Yes. And I'm glad you said that, because I didn't realize that he was the founder. But when I found out, I was like, wow, a man actually started this organization. Yeah. And how did his passion come for this? I mean, of course we know, men get involved, but he actually is the founder of the organization.
Yeah, like I said, so we were running the league, see different things, situations that he's had to break up on the field, on top of just, the venting, different things with the women coming to the field. So always just a spirit to help, a helping spirit is what we have. So with that going forth, we said we need to do some, that many people together need to do some type of community outreach.
No, that's awesome.
With that community outreach, we were able to start reaching out to all the domestic violence shelters in the St. Louis area and servicing them during Valentine's Day. So we came up with our project, and it was it's called the Love Package, is what it's called, and it is a full-size personal hygiene product that has 60 days worth of hygiene products.
Oh, wow.
Families when they enter into the shelters.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so
And I'm
that's
sure,
how it started.
wow. And you guys been doing this for 10 years, so that's a long time. And I'm sure the people that you guys impact are so appreciative of those packages that they get, because those are some things that is definitely needed, especially like when it comes to shelters.
Yes, it is. So, and then just the dignity for those ladies. So we started, like I said, we started going in on Valentine's Day just to show them that they're loved.
Right,
Love,
right.
no matter what situation they're in, we're gonna give you a day just for not a day, an hour. We go in for about an hour. We
Okay.
go to several shelters. About an hour of the day to just decompress, and we've taken slides. We've done slides. We've had poetry. We had people come sing to them, just interacting, speaking with them, and giving them those items. So yeah, with that, so this definitely like a dignity package too. So in that process, we've seen individuals go to the front asking for toothbrushes for their kids or tampons. That's pretty embarrassing for them.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
you know,
Especially when you have to ask for it. Right, right.
yes. So it's like, okay, this is what we're doing this, but it's really definitely needed. So we were on the right track. So we were leading that manner.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's how we started. And like I said, so the drive runs from January 5th to February 5th, and we distribute during
okay.
Valentine's Day weekend. The weekend
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Day. So
this will be coming up this January as well.
Yes. So
Oh,
this
good.
is our 10th Love Package campaign. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's how we started. And then from that, also, we saw individuals and they would talk to us after those events and say, hey, how can I get out of here? Can you guys help me get out of here? What's my next step? Like, I'm really not getting, I really don't know what I do next. So with that real estate background, it came all together. So we ended up developing a housing program.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's now, Pathways to Brightness.
Okay. So I do want to talk a little bit about statistics. So can you give us some statistics about domestic violence and actually the truth about domestic violence? Because a lot of times when we hear about women in these situations, you know, if you don't understand, your first comment is, why don't they just leave? You know, why do they stay in these situations? You know, they could just pack up and leave. And sometimes it's just not that simple.
No, because by the time it probably actually starts happening, it starts off very gradual, right? Mm-hmm. So it starts off with maybe small arguments or them getting upset because you're not agreeing with them or calling you out of your name, coercing different things. So it starts off very mild and then it begins to build. So it escalates and it goes to the next level.
Right.
Yeah. So then at that point, the next cycle, the cycle of violence would be an explosion.
Right.
Okay. So that means at this point it's physical. Okay. They put their hands on you. They punch you. I've heard of head bunning, several different things. I had somebody tell me today that they were bit on their chin.
Wow.
So, and over the last year, we've seen probably about a 25% increase on gun violence being involved. So a gun, being involved, a weapon being involved. So, but particularly guns. So either they've been shot at, they've been hit with, or they actually shot.
Oh, wow.
Or shot, like the family houses up and different things like that. So gunplay is definitely a major thing that's going on. So a lot of people don't really understand. Number one, you're probably in love with this person. So that's the first thing. You're probably in love with them. You want to make it work, especially individuals that have children. So it's very important.
Yeah, it looks like we're having okay, there you go. Okay. Yeah, we was having little connection issues for a second. Okay, there you go. I can see it.
Okay, so the explodes, like I said, it explodes. So they go into that state, that phase of it. And then the next phase will be the honeymoon phase where they say they're sorry, I won't do it again, all that good stuff. So, and by this time you're in love with someone. So it becomes kind of hard for you to leave, or if you have children with them at this point. And then you get it cycle and it goes around and around. So It's hard to break that. And a lot of women are fearful. A lot of people think it's better to stay there to keep the family unit together. And then a lot of times they'll be down so psychologically and emotionally
Right.
that it's
Yeah.
hard for them to leave, because at this point now you're second guessing yourself and your worth.
Right. And
Yeah.
I can imagine. So, what are some of the different types of abuse? I know, like we hear about verbal abuse, definitely physical abuse. Now, I have heard of financial abuse
Yes.
when you don't work. So, just talk a little bit about the different types of abuse that they
So
go
you have the emotional abuse,
through. Hmm.
making the abuser making you feel guilty for not doing certain things. The psychological, like I talked about, the beat down of you're not worthy, nobody would ever want you, you have too many kids. Just that psychological where it bites away from your self esteem,
Right.
and
Right.
that's
Right.
the most difficult to me that I see to recover from or to
Mm.
build yourself from. It's a constant empowerment. It's a constant training of the mind, resetting the mind, because you can hear these things in your head from way
And it's
back.
almost probably you start believing those things.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So the self esteem has been, beat down.
Yeah.
It has been reduced. So, and you double guess and question yourself on those things based on the opinion of what they're saying to you, because this is the one you love, probably the closest person to you, actually.
Right. Right.
Right. Yeah. So, the other part of it is, so one of four women will actually deal with domestic violence.
Mm.
One of 10 men will as well.
Wow.
And
And we hardly ever hear about the men. Of course you hear about women that have been abused, but like do men come forward or
so
how likely will they?
so it's
Yeah.
becoming more and more that they are starting to speak up, because it's a stigma of
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
man being abused and they're the masculine party in the relationship. So I think
Right.
when you're questioning manhood, and you know that's a big thing, that pride keeps them from not reporting and different things like that. But it
Right.
really does happen, and we've had about four men come through the program in the 3 years that we've been actually doing the Pathways to Brightness program. And it
No.
definitely does happen. I actually saw a post on Facebook. I was tagging a post last week, and it said men are actually out here getting domestic violence, or being domestic violence abuse.
Hmm.
It's 132 comments on there when I hit it. I didn't look at it again this week,
Wow.
but there were several stories of individuals growing up in households where the mother was the abuser to the father.
Wow. And see those stories we really don't hear, you know.
No, because
Um,
like you said, there's so many different types of abuse.
right.
Financial abuse, okay, it can be physical abuse as well. Um,
Mm.
Physical abuse, emotional abuse. So there are several different types of abuse.
Right. And I'm glad you said that too,
Like,
because right, when you it's just right. Because when I'm thinking like as far as men being abused, you automatically think, well, physically, but you're right. A woman could emotionally, verbally abuse a man, but again, like I said, we just don't hear about that often. So I'm glad that
yes, they just don't hit. Train, get you off of them, but they just don't hit back.
right,
So I
right, right. Um So I know you guys been around for 10 years. So tell me what do you find rewarding about helping people that have been in situation of domestic abuse?
so what's rewarding when you see them make goals and actually hit them?
Yeah.
That's when they get their keys to their new home, and
Oh,
they're so
awesome.
grateful and so appreciative. Those goals are the main thing. Being able to establish, knowing they're in a safe environment. They had a fresh start. Um, so those are the gratifying moments. Even when we're in classes, because we do classes, it's part of the program, when they're able to share and be transparent. I like that we create a safe place, and they can come there and actually be able know they're in a safe place and be able to discuss, and they're amongst their peers where it doesn't seem odd, like you said earlier. He was like, why don't they just leave?
Right.
I wish that would happen to me, but it is a community. Sad to say, but it is a community and they need each other. So we have created this safe space for them to be able to come and talk about those things freely without being judged.
Without being judged. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Right. That is like the best part. And so I think about people, or even myself, or anybody say, I'll never find myself in a situation like that. Where, sometimes, like you said, it's obviously subtle. So you don't even realize what are some of the things, like, because I always say when you get in relationships, you kind of see red flags, but sometimes we ignore those red flags because, we like the person, and you don't even have to even really be in a relationship. You could just be dating, but you see these red flags, but sometimes we'll overlook because we want to continue dating them. So what are some things that as women or men, whoever, need to kind of watch out for and say, you know what, I think I need to back out of this situation before it gets too far?
Getting angry easily. Simple things, just like, I like that. Well, I like it. Just simple things that make them go to another level or show that other side. So believe that when you're seeing it. That's one of the if they want you to themselves, isolation.
Mm-hmm.
So those are, some of the things that happen as well. And so yeah.
And because of course we have friends, and if we see, like, I always tell my friends, if y'all see me in a situation and I'm not obviously not seeing what's going on, tell me. And I know sometimes it's not always easy to talk to your friends or whatever, but I just believe that if you see something, because we all should hold each other accountable, or if we love our friends or family members and we see them going down a path that could be a dangerous relationship or a violent relationship or a relationship that has verbal abuse, that we should speak up. I don't believe that silence is golden.
No, not at all. So that's the thing, because it's a silent, because people isolate.
Yes.
Because it comes with a sense of shame and embarrassment, and so then they'll go into their shell, and they probably been threatened as well. If you tell anybody I hit you out, those threats.
Right.
Into their selves. So they're isolating themselves from friends, families, things like that.
Right.
If anybody does share that, do as much as you can, provide them. But the one thing I can say, they're not going to leave until they're ready. So another statistics is they will return to their abuser 7 to 10 times before they actually leave. So 7 to 10 times they will go through that cycle, those 3 phases we talked about earlier, before they actually leave that actual relationship. Yeah.
And how do we, because sometimes, on the outside, we get frustrated with the person, why do they keep going back? And then you get angry with them, but we need understanding, how can we view them without,
Yeah. So the biggest thing I think is you're going to get frustrated, but still always let them know that they have that they're, whenever they're ready, you are okay. It might be 2-3 times. So you do have to set some boundaries, because we don't know the level of violence that the abuser is, wanting to take. Yeah, you do need to be careful. Provide research. Listen, not necessarily having to respond, and just letting them know that you are there for them and that they have a safe place to vent. And that's the main thing. Don't come out, because like you said, you get frustrated, the family gets frustrated, they get upset, it happened, they go over there, they're ready to get the abuser, and everybody's all involved, and she'll go or he'll go for a couple of 3, 4, 5 days, and then the next thing you know, they're back. And it's like that cycle is starting again, but it's like, I just physically here getting ready to, family, when family comes, it kind of turns into something different. So they put themselves in jeopardy and at risk, but then a week later you're back with that person.
Right.
So just continue to build positive into them, let them know they're better than their relationship, but not being judgmental, but listening as well. So just never turn your back, because you never know when they're ready.
Right. And and I know too, sometimes it can even be dangerous for the other family members, because we hear these terrible stories all the time on the news, about they might have, unfortunately, may have ended the life of the spouse, the kids, sometimes family members, and
And
that's nothing.
that's why we
Go ahead,
can't turn our back. This year, we've had so many homicides due to domestic violence, but then they turn into suicides as well.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and I understand if a person is suicidal, because that's another tactic. If everything you get into an argument, I'm just kill myself. When you have these arguments, if they're suicidal, they're homicidal. Understand that.
Right.
Take threats lightly.
See, that's something good to know. Right.
Yeah. So
yeah, and it's unfortunate because, like I said, we do hear these stories all the time, these terrible stories. Now, I did, so I really deal with more sexual assault, not necessarily domestic violence. But one thing I did learn is that they have to have a plan to get out.
Plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's one of the classes that we do have in the Pathway to Brightness. They have to have a safety plan. So we want them to, whatever environment they're in, to actually plan out leaving. We deal with survivors after they have left those situations, and we work on the stabilization, rebuilding side of that, getting them a new home away from their abuser. But never know when you'll need it again. You never know when you just need it for your household in general, for a fire or whatever. But the main thing is having a plan is one of the best things you could ever do, because another statistic is 50, you're at your highest risk. Your highest risk of fatality when you're leaving a relationship. It's about 50-50. Yeah, you're like at a 50 to 65% chance of fatality.
Right.
With those things come, if you leave the relationship, they're stalking, these days they're GPSing. You can buy GPS.
Right, that is true.
On Amazon. So much is more accessible. Apps on your phone, know where you are, things like that. So that's part of that safety planning. So we have a technology piece of the safety plan. So the main thing in safety planning, what you want to do is make sure that you have your ID, birth certificates, any information that your kids may need. These things are very, very important to replace when you leave and flee with nothing. You have to have some identification. So with that being said, you might want to leave a bag. If you know you're in a situation, leave a bag with a friend. I've had individuals, they actually buried in a plastic bag their items, their personal items, so they know where to go get them from, or to, have it when they need to leave.
Right.
Another thing we tell them, put it in the freezer. Most abusers are not going in the freezer looking for that. So put it with the vegetables frozen, everything is in there. So when you get ready to leave, you can run to the refrigerator, grab your stuff, and go. Another thing is, like I said, family and friends. Always keep a copy of those things somewhere, along with maybe a week's worth of clothes for you and your children, because you don't know where you're going to be if you have to leave in a rush. Okay, you might run out the house with no shoes. You got a pair of shoes in the trunk and a bag of clothes in the trunk. So all those things. Have an escape route on how to get out. Leave certain windows open. I'll leave that window unlocked all the time. So you have an escape route out. So that's part of the safety planning process.
Wow. And honestly, I'm glad you're saying all this, because I'm sure there are some people that may be watching that are in the situation, and we may not know. But these are some great tips for them, so that they, can have a plan so that they can escape. So talk a little bit too about, I know you guys have an event coming up this Saturday, which actually I will be there. I'm really actually excited. I'm excited about it. But it's the run walk you guys have had for, I guess, a few years. Just tell us a little bit about that.
So this is the second annual rally walk.
Okay.
And it is a rally walk, and we call it a rally and a walk. Rally, we walk, we dance, we do everything. So it's a celebration for survivors. That's what it is. So like there are several visuals, there are several different events going on, educational events, things like that. But we said, hey, so like you said, October is the month of domestic violence awareness. So we take 1 week of domestic violence awareness month because we have breast cancer, we have suicide,
Right.
we have a lot of several different causes that are actually going on. So we take the week of action. That's going to be the 17th through the 23rd, which is always the third week of the month. So every year is always the third week of the month, and there are several activities going on throughout the week. Okay, and every day there's a day to do something. So like tomorrow is Wear Purple Day and hashtag paint the Lou purple. Okay,
Oh,
I'll send you that information so you can post it.
Yes.
Yeah. So or anytime this week, if you have your purple, post it, and I'll send you some hashtags and you guys get it over. Okay, and we'll have a whole sea of purple on Saturday. So what we've done, like I said, it's a whole week of events, different forums, things like that. And what we actually will do is on the 22nd, we will be in Chroma Plaza, St. Louis, Missouri, 4140 Shoto Avenue, South St. Louis. And we will have a stage, we will have a DJ, we will have a host mocha latte will be with us. We will have dancing, partying, just a survivors celebration because
awesome.
They're living, they're thriving, and they're striving for healing. Yes. And they have moved on from those situations. Along with that, we will have a proclamation declaring Domestic Violence Awareness Month for St. Louis County. Sam's Page office will actually present that along with Rasheen. He has one from the state of Missouri for us also. And he actually came from an activist background, and he's going to lead the rally. We will have a band. Carlane will be there. Their whole entire band will lead. So we will chant, and, we're going to have a good time.
That is so good. I'm excited.
So the other biggest thing is we have all the domestic violence agencies will be there for resources. Because they can find the resources for domestic violence. Where do I go? How do I get in touch? Things like that. So we have been the leaders because we started off in the community and came into agency. First of all, a lot of people are agency and they've kind of been there. So it's like, hey, come on, we got to get out in the community. So we invited all out. Yeah, so all of them are out, are the supporting agencies like legal services. And then we have vendors. 60% of my vendors are domestic violence survivors that have, their own business. So that's awesome. And this year we'll also have the All Network, and they would be doing interviews with all the sponsors, agencies, all of that, and it will be recorded. So we will have a full-fledged episode, right, of this year, and we look to stream it continuously. So hopefully, even with you, we can do that.
Awesome. Well, I tell you, I'm really excited about that. I cannot wait. I haven't been to a walk in a while. We used to have them, and we haven't had one in a few years, but this sounds super exciting, and I cannot wait to come, especially it's a celebration, and just to celebrate all those that have, like you said, that have come out of those situations, that are just thriving now and living life. And honestly, even give some encouragement to those who are wanting to come out of those situations.
Correct. Yep. I know some people are scared. I can't be seen down there. And if somebody knows, come get the information for your friends, for your family, whatever it is, come down and get it. If they don't want to come, if you can get them to come, it would be great. We have survivors speaking from the LGBTQ community to, like everybody. So we have a young lady from St. Charles that has survived and thriving as well, and she started her own nonprofit. So several opportunities, a lot of information, and a lot of inspiration and empowerment is our goal all the time.
That is awesome. And I love that you guys have other agencies there too, to support the cause, because that's important too, that we all come together and, because we can't help everybody, but we all can help somebody. And and have those resources. So definitely excited about that. I can't wait. Now, do we need to purchase t-shirts or do we just wear purple?
So here's the thing. So just wear your purple because we're about 3 days out. So wear your purple. Actually, when you come, there might be some shirts, but when I say my phone is continuously dinging when I see
everybody wants a shirt.
Everybody's like, today is the last day, and they're trying to get their stuff, right? So you can if not, you can wear your purple shirt. You can go out to our mutual friends, Wall Street and Company in the St. Louis Galleria. She has our I Am Enough collection in her store. Go get you something purple. Come on out. If not, we'll have a vendor table as well. So if you don't have purple, you can get you some purple when you get there.
All right.
Purple, come on, bring it. Let's make sure we all have on purple. It'll be a sea of purple, right?
Yes.
But the walk is free. You do not have to pay for it. You just need to register.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. I think I'm already registered, so I'm good. But if you have not registered, make sure you do. And where can they go register, and how can they get in contact with you?
So you'll go to our website, and it's www.2 and then it's DEF, DEF. D is in dog, E is in Edward, F is in Frank.org, 2def.org. Go there, Facebook page, or on the website. You definitely want to get to the website and do your registration. Okay, if you need to call the office, 314-328-4348.
All right. Well, you guys heard it right here on Be the Voice podcast. So this Saturday, the 22nd at 10 a.m. I think that's what it was.
10 to 2. We will walk at 12 noon. The band will be ready to start the walk along with the Jeep formers. Will be spread out in there at the beginning and the end too. So we have a lot of activities. Support. It looks like our registration has tripled from last year, and this is only our second year, so it is growing. I had somebody come by the office today, and they said, "Yeah, we had a friend, and they like added some stuff to our flyer, but it was a tribute for the young man that lost his life to domestic violence partner." So, walk in memory of. Walk for those that are still thriving, and be an inspiration. Just be around the environment to understand there is help in it. Like you said, all the resources, because where one agency ends, another one begins.
Right.
What you need, but there's another program out there that can help you get to your goal.
Yes. All right. Well, Brandy, thank you so much for being on our podcast. Thank you all, the Diamond Diva Empowerment Foundation, for the work that you do. It is so important. And I know you guys are definitely helping many in the community, and just keep up the great work. I know it's not always easy work, but it is definitely rewarding, and just helping, supporting those that are coming out, and just giving them the resources that they need. So you are definitely appreciated.
No, thank you. I thank you for your platform and your voice as well. And I look forward to April. So our next thing is April. Okay.
What'd you say? This April what?
No, I look forward to April so we can do something again together.
Yes. I look forward to April too. I'm always excited every April. So yeah. And shout out to Brenda Hampton, who connected us. Yes, a good friend of both of ours. And she made the connection. I'm so glad she did. So all right. Well, thank you, Brandy. Again, you guys, this Saturday now is it in the Grove? Because I know a little bit about the Grove, but is that the area that it's in?
Yeah, so it's actually in the Grove. So it's Shoto and south of Vanderbilt. So it's like, so if you know where IKEA is, it's south of IKEA. So come on across the
I know exactly where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Well, make sure you guys join me, join Brandy, join the Diamond Diva Empowerment Foundation. They will be out this weekend, and they will be celebrating survivors of domestic violence the 22nd at 10 a.m. So I can't wait. Again, just give them their phone number, Brandy, if they need resources.
314-328-4348.
All right. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you again so much for being on the podcast, and you enjoy the rest of your night. And I will see you on Saturday.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much again. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.